We move on to our Sounders now.
Keeping with the sort of playoff aspirations kind of thing, you talked about mixed bag. We're really liking the mixed bag term. The head of the show, the Sounders had a mixed bag week, finishing up their little road trip in Orlando and then coming home to play Houston yesterday. August 31st at the Orlando Pride. This was a kind of gut-wrenching loss. So Seattle was down and then was able to come back and tie things, and then they late goal in stoppage time loses it for you. You lose points. You could have had to draw. No. Play of the game, I know there's 3 goals allowed, but Stefan Fry has not had the easiest run of things at the goalkeeper position, considering that the positions his defense have put him in. A 7.9 match rating, the highest for his team. He saved a penalty, had 6 total saves, 1 punch, and 6 recoveries. That one's just, tough. You blow it, and it's like, oh, shoot, you're even after the Portland loss. It's like you're digging yourself a big hole.
Yeah.
September 4th versus Houston back at home was a 2-1 win. Player of the game, NOUHOU finally scored in 6 seasons with the MLS team. NOUHOU finally finds his goal. It would Seattle would go down early, and in the second half, NOUHOU would get on the board. I believe it was on the 59th minute. Finally happened and kind of sparked things. Head coach Brian Schmetzer said after the game that they kind of got guys a little motivated, got guys a little bit excited. NOUHOU had not only the goal, he had an 8.9 match rating, the goal, and an assist on the game-winning goal by Fredy Montero with 4 total chances created. So NOUHOU finally scored, as you can see in the bottom banner. But now, so Seattle is mathematically alive. They are 6 points out of the, I believe it's the 7th and 8th spot in the Western Conference, which are 2 playoff spots. Portland, I believe it's Portland and Real Salt Lake. So you're in 9th. You're 6 points out. That's 2 wins. You have to win out, essentially. I mean, if you want to be safe about things, I mean, you could win a couple and then kind of play it safe and we'll kind of live on the edge. But, ideally you like to win out. That doesn't get any easier as you play Austin next week, who is the number 2 seed. And then Vancouver after that's a rivalry game, so that shouldn't be easy necessarily. FC Cincinnati is looking in the same position. They're fighting to find a playoff spot, so they're not going to lay down. And then you play a couple teams that aren't exactly in the playoff hunt. So it's still possible. And, there are always moments in like miraculous turnarounds or runs where it kind of starts. The NFL has a great, like a show they would always run called NFL Turning Point. I don't know if you've ever seen it, but it goes in like a specific part of the game where the game flipped, where like a big play was made, the pendulum swung the other way. Is this NOUHOU goal something that does that? I'm really intrigued to see. Yeah, I mean, because you're so mathematically alive, so it's not like you've been eliminated. It's impossible. You're like 10 points out. No, you're still technically within it. You just have to continue this form. And, I know you're without your MVP candidate and Christian Roldan, but you've got guys that have stepped up. Raul Ruidiaz is still healthy.
Healthy enough to take pictures.
NOUHOU being able to score was great. The defense looked solid outside of that one play where the one goal that Houston scored where they kind of got caught napping. So and the Houston's a bad team, so this should have been a win anyway. But it's still possible. So I'm not putting them to rest. I know I've been disappointed with them in weeks, but this could be the pendulum swinging proverbially. This could be it. So. But it starts with Austin on Saturday, which is not going to be an easy test. No, it's like, all right, we've got the big, like it's when you play a game and you've got like the big road, to the final boss. And you play like a pretty decent sized boss. It's like, oh, well, this doesn't get much easier, does it? So you have to play the man. What I think it was Ric Flair. Yeah, if you want to be the man, you have to beat the man. So you kind of got to go through number 2.
Mentality. Yeah.
So we'll see how that goes. No other team news or injury related news for you, luckily. All we got next for you is the Sounders sitting at an 11-win, 15-loss record with 3 draws on the season, 9th in the Western Conference, 36 points on the year, 6 out of a playoff spot. Their next match, as I mentioned, I should just leave the new who scored thing finally up there. September 10th versus Austin FC. That is at home, luckily, with a 5 p.m. kickoff. So that's big. That's number 2 seed in the West. That trying to keep your playoffs alive. So if you're able to, I know there's a Mariners game going on at the same time that Bell will be at, and I'll be over across the street.